Rosemont Horizon in Chicago, Illinois for the U.S. Hobbit Association 1990 points final. And Jerry, it's kind of appropriate that at this event, certainly the wildest monster truck race in the 16-year history of this class, that we would have the two machines that were the first ever built for this type of motorsports, Bigfoot and Barefoot. It's neat.
As well as the founders of indoor motorsports and the United States Hot Rod Association, Ed Thayer and Tony Vaccaro are here.
It's true. They were the people that brought this kind of sport to the masses from coast to coast across the United States and Canada. Here's a unique situation. Barefoot is back in the program because Rookie of the Year Rob Morris in the four-wheel crazy could not return. He's against Jim Reese in the Eliminator. This has changed the whole deal.
Jim Reese, a strong competitor, and it looks like Jim Reese might have a problem here.
Yeah, definitely. And Fred Schaefer also having traction problems. In fact, Jim Reese was able to make up a lot of the time that he lost there. Look at Schaefer. He's really gone conservative here. And the Eliminator beats him.
Unbelievable.
Now, to see Fred Schaefer go from absolutely full throttle to that kind of conservatism, you have to wonder if this course isn't getting that tricky for the higher horsepower trucks. Look at Schaefer. He's not even that far in the air. And going into the turn, the same thing you brought up earlier about his conservatism costing him the race with Taurus. Looks like it's doing the same thing here. And Jim Reese has had nothing but transmission problems this weekend, yet he managed to get all the way around there, and you can see him very aggressive there in the final jump. The Eliminator goes to the final round. What an upset. But boy, that opens the door for Taurus and Jack Willman again, Jerry.
It certainly does. Jim Reese, a strong competitor throughout the entire season. And he stays in the program. Well, here's Bigfoot, John Pyatt.
Jack Willman has had the roughest road of anybody here at this event. First round, he takes on the points leader, Barefoot. Now, in order to win that $50,000 Camel World Championship, he's got to get past the best-known truck in the world.
You can see the concentration on Jack Willman's face.
Hey, this is going to be just as much a war as any first-round battle we saw. They leave the line. Look at that. They're probably the two best launches we've seen throughout the event. They go into the first turn. A lot of tire spin for Pyatt. He gets sideways.
Still even. Look at this. Dead heat.
Boy, they're dead even. Willman getting real aggressive. Going way wide, though. Trying to straighten it out. Look out, look out. I don't believe my eyes.
Jeff Morgan in the center of the track. It looks like he might have gotten flipped.
I am almost positive that our starter, he's on his feet. He's obviously okay in the center of the mud pit, but you can see the crew's going out to see if he's all right. It certainly looked like he was actually run over by the Taurus Chevy of Jack Willman. That's the scariest situation I've ever seen in this sport.
Unbelievable. Let's take a look at the replay now.
It almost looked like Taurus may have hit Bigfoot as well at the end of that course. The Christmas tree is totally destroyed. There you see Morton telling him to keep racing, telling him to get the track clear and bring out the next pair. That guy's got guts.
The bulb's all missing out of the tree. Here comes Taurus now.
All right, you see that rough landing. That may have caused Willman to lose his bearings completely. That was rough enough to almost knock him out. He is under power. You can see him spinning the tires as he goes around the turn. Then the rear end comes around as the machine is definitely losing traction. But he gets right back in the throttle, and it just doesn't respond to the steering. He's got the wheels cranked, Jerry. Now watch. Look at Morton running out of the way.
There's the bulbs flying out of the tree, and it looks like the tree itself, the metal part of the tree, hit Jeff Morgan in the back.
Let's look at it again. I can't tell if it's the rear tire of Taurus or the Christmas tree pole, as you said, that hits him in the back. I'm almost, boy, oh, that is just incredible. I'm almost inclined to believe that both of them hit him, Jerry. And then he comes over, Willman comes over, and it looks like tags Bigfoot. Pyatt saw him coming and actually got on the brakes. But John Pyatt is awarded the win, and Jeff Morgan, the U.S. Hobbit Association starter, Jerry, should get a medal for actions above and beyond the call of duty on that one.
Well, we have preliminary reports that Jeff is okay.
Yeah, he was back on his feet almost immediately, and he is going to apparently stay with us. The paramedics, as we've been watching the replay, have been checking him out, and they say he wants to stay. He looks okay to us. But what a wild, wild incident. There you see Bob Chandler, the owner and the man who created the monster truck phenomenon. with Bigfoot out of St. Louis, Missouri, waving to the crowd. He'll be in the final round. We've got more mud racing as well coming up, including the shootout.
Back at the Rosemont Horizon in Chicago, here's Let's Boogie, Tony Furey.
This is the brand new supercharged street roadster of Steve DeLue out of Michigan, and it is a killer.
Good run, can he get it stopped? And he does.
A lot of steam off the exhaust headers, and Jerry, that just brings up the fact that you pointed out earlier. There's a lot of water still down at that finish line as it hits the hot exhaust headers. 2.12 seconds. Believe it or not, the mark to beat was 2.123. Fierro goes 2.126, and by 0.03 of a second will not get in the quick four.
Round 0 coming up next.
Jeff Sturkin, number 2 in the world last year. He was runner-up to Tom Martin in the World Championship a year ago.
Good run.
Oh, just goes out. That was a matter of 6 inches. And Sturkin will be disqualified. And you know what's amazing about that, Jerry? The finish line is so slippery. Watch the front wheels. It looks like Sturkin shut off before the finish line. Well, then again, maybe he didn't. 2.121. That would have been good enough to get in the field, but he's disqualified by 6 inches, just tapping that disqualification banner 80 feet past the finish line.
Unbelievable. Well, coming up next, Byron Tinky and Bad Habit.
Now, it looked to me, Jerry, like Byron was worried. He saw everybody else getting real close to that finish, or to the disqualification line. He actually did shut the engine off early. Watch the front tires as he approaches the 80-foot. Yeah, he was out of it. And at 2:14, had he stayed in the throttle, I guarantee you he'd have picked up the 0.03 of a second he needed to get in.
That's a strong running machine. All right, coming up next, Red Heat, Melvin Brown.
Melvin Brown always in the top 10 with his not one but 2 machines at each event.
Good run.
It looked again like Melvin Brown got out of the throttle before the finish line. These guys are really scared of that slippery shutdown area. The rear engine injected nitrous oxide Chevy powered dragster. Boy, he's getting thrown around in there. 2:27 will not qualify. Remember that it takes a 2:12 or better, actually 2.123 seconds to get in. Here's the guy, Jerry, that was just voted by the Camel people the Rookie of the Year for 1990 in the super modified mud ranks. Jody Kelly out of North Carolina with his supercharged T-Roadster.
Let's see what Jody can do now.
That was one of the strangest runs I've ever seen. It looked at about the 60-foot mark like the rear end was 4 feet in the air there. Yeah, it was. 2.149 seconds, and he shut off way before the finish line. That car's running the low 180s. Here's an interesting young man out of the state of Iowa. This is Rick Holmes in the Wild Cherry machine. It is a very unusual piece, a fuel-injected Ford with nitrous oxide, Jerry.
Rear engine power.
Yeah, it was. Considering the amount of tire spin, Holmes did an excellent job. And this young man is coming on strong. He is probably going to be one of the toughest runners in 1991. He got invited to this event solely on his ability this year. The 282 does not even come close to showing you how strong that car is. I know his father would be proud of that one, Jerry.
Well, the ruts in the track are really getting severe. Here's the Blue Max, Melvin Brown, second entry. Oh, he shut off way early.
Well, yeah, he definitely shut it off before the finish line. I'm inclined to believe that the transmission was going away there. Melvin is one of the few drivers that takes advantage of the U.S. Hobbit Association rule that allows a driver to compete with 2 different machines. I'm inclined to believe that that performance will allow Byron Tinky's Bad Habit to take over the number 8 spot that car occupied coming into this event. So that'll set up the Grand Slam shootout with the Team Rancho Michigan Off-Road Thunderbird of Mark Watrous, number 1 at 193, followed by the new national record holder, Jim Weber, the American made at 195. The Instant T and Gold Fever entries rounding up the top 4, and it's going to be wild, Jerry.
Coming up, the finals in the super modified mud and the mud.